valuable inputs about the NEP and the role of career counselors. Now, I would request Mrs. Purnima Khanna to share the overview of POSCO Act.
Good morning, all of you, and welcome to this excellent session. Thank you, Sunil sir, Director ma'am, especially, and Lavina ma'am, Ashok sir, Sanjay sir, Ashwini sir, Kanda Devi ma'am. Thank you, Lavina, for allowing me to come and share my views. We are here to discuss the talk on POSCO, children who are sexually abused. That is the POSCO Act which came. So how did it all start? It was in 1992, a United Nations Convention on the rights of the child was discussed to how to protect the best interest of children. And it was at that time that the government of India also started the process. Recently, we have seen many cases of child abuse. For example, 2 boys in Mumbai who were aged 10 and 13 years of age died by suicide after sexual abuse. A 16-year-old boy was brutally abused by 15 boys for nearly a year before his case was reported. And 16 to 18 years boys in a ashram were exploited by a godman and his associate in Muzaffarnagar. It's not only boys, girls have been raped repeatedly. An 18-year-old girl from Fatehpur in UP area was raped and murdered. A 16-year-old girl from Gaya, Bihar was raped, brutally murdered, beheaded, acid thrown on her face so that she could not be identified. What is shocking is that we are always thinking that it is girls who are up to being abused, but it is actually also that 53% of boys have been reported to be abused. These are reports from NCRB, which says that over 350 various crimes are committed on children in India every day. All the above informations I have taken from gazettes of Government of India, Youth Ki Awaaz, TOI, Down to Earth, and PRS legislative research. So what happened? In 19 June 2012, the POSCO Act was given the assent by the President of India. It came into effect on 14th November 2012. An amendment of this act was done on 5th August 2019. You know, what is surprising is that 90% of the children who are abused by people who are known to them, people whom they trust. I would like to explain the aim of Government of India for this act. The aim was to provide protection to all children from the offenses of sexual assault, sexual harassment, including pornography. It was deemed necessary for the proper development of the child to maintain the right to privacy and confidentiality to be protected at all stages of the judicial process. The Act also aims at best interest of the child for his healthy, physical, emotional, intellectual, and social development. It is also to prevent exploitation of the child in prostitution and unlawful sexual practices, to protect the child from exploitation of pornographic performances. This is really a grave crime which needed to be addressed, and the Government of India is trying various measures to curtail it, bring it to zero level. So let's understand whom do we classify as a child? A child is defined as one who is below 18 years of age. Since more than 90% of the abusers are known to the child, it could be a living relative in the same house, or a family member visiting them, or could be a neighbor who stays nearby, or could be a socially connected person who is in regular touch with the family and is trusted by them. Let us understand what are the types of sexual abuses. We can classify them broadly into 2 types. One, by touch, and the second by non-touch. What do we mean by touch? Touch is to touch any private part of the body which is inappropriate, which is uncomfortable for the child, is called touch. Non-touch can be through any social media by sending SMS, MMS, or anything on the Facebook or Insta or any of these social medias. I would like to now discuss the role of the parent, how to help the child, and the role of the teachers in general, the role of the counselors in general, how to help the child. We need to educate the child on internet security and cybercrime. We should not allow them to be trusted to trust any strangers, because strangers tend to do this to children very easily by giving them some toffee or toy or such objects. Passwords should be given by the parents to children. If somebody comes and says your parent has called me and told me to bring you, they should not go into dark lanes because they will become vulnerable there. If they are being touched inappropriately, they must immediately try to run, shout, or even cry. That will gain the attention of nearby and will protect the child. It is important that if the child is being, if the parent is sending somebody to pick up the child, the parent must give them some sort of identity proof, and so that the child knows this is my somebody I can trust. Please remember, children are very sensitive and very sensible. They are threatened by the abuser and do not want to report the cases because it at times becomes socially uneasy for the parent or in the society. I would now like to cover the offences under this Act. 1. Under Section 3, it is penetrative sexual assault. Under Section 5, it is aggravated penetrative sexual assault. Section 7, sexual assault. Section 9, aggravated sexual assault. Section 11, sexual harassment of the child. And Section 13 says use of child for pornographic purposes. There are various punishments under the Act. It is important that we as counselors please remember that if a case is reported to us, we must file the complaint, an FIR, as soon as possible. This is important to protect the interest of the child, and why it is more important for us, if the case is known to us, it is mandatory to report such cases. Not reporting the cases, we become liable to be charge sheeted. There is a procedure for recording the statement given by the child. It can be in camera, it can be with the person the child trusts, and it can even be without any other extra member being there. Police protection is given to the child while recording. Medical examinations are carried out, and if it is a girl child, it is mandatory that a lady doctor is present. The child's parent or guardian should be present so that the child feels comfortable. The government has set up special courts for this, for the speedy justice, so that the delay does not happen. Because of delays, the justice becomes denied. So now the demand is for having a speedy justice done in all cases. And so there are special courts with special powers who would be given this work. And the NCPCR, that is National Commission for the Protection of Child Rights, is designated as the monitoring authority of this Act, where the onus lies both with the center and the state. There are major differences which have taken place between the Act of 2012 and the amendment bill which was done in 2019. Now, minimum is 5 years in jail and can be even to life imprisonment and death, depending on various cases. As in the case of Nirbhaya case, we know that ultimately death sentence was given. Free legal aid is given to the children, both for midterm and long-term relief, and the parents are given counseling. The child is given counseling, and that is why the role of the counselor becomes extremely important during this time. Thank you all for listening to me. Thank you very much.